I've lived next to Clearwater Lake my whole life. My little cabin sat on the west shore, tucked between tall pines with a rickety dock stretching out into the water. That lake is where my dad taught me to fish, where I first learned to swim, and where I still sit every evening to watch the sun set behind the hills. Then the Green Pines Lakeside HOA showed up. They built a gated community on the south end of the lake. Rows of big fancy houses with matching mailboxes and manicured lawns that looked like golf courses. At first, I didn't mind. They were a good mile away from my cabin and my dock. But pretty soon, the new residents realized the public boat launch on my side of the lake made it too easy for outsiders to get in. One morning, I woke up to find a shiny new fence cutting off the gravel road that led down to the boat launch. A big sign hung from a locked gate, "Private property, HOA members only." I walked down to inspect it. There was Carl Reynolds, the HOA president, standing there with a smug grin and a clipboard. "Morning, Jim," he said like we were old friends. "Just some improvements. We're securing lake access for paying members only. Keeps out the riffraff." I crossed my arms. "You do realize my dock's down there?" Carl tapped his clipboard. "Technically, the road easement crosses HOA property lines. We voted to gate it. Can't have just anyone driving down here. Liability, you know." "Carl," I said, "my family's used that launch for 50 years. He shrugged. "Sorry, rules are rules. But hey, you're welcome to join the HOA. Then you'll get a gate key." I asked how much. He said the buy-in was 15 grand plus monthly dues. I laughed so hard I nearly fell over. So for a few weeks, I drove my truck through my neighbor's pasture to get to my dock. It tore up his field and he wasn't too happy about it. But he understood. That's when I got an idea. I did some digging at the county records office and found out that the tiny half-acre parcel where the gate and fence posts were installed, it didn't actually belong to the HOA. It was owned by an old couple who'd moved to Florida 10 years back. The HOA had just assumed nobody would notice. So I gave the couple a call. They were delighted to hear from me, especially when I offered them double what the HOA claimed the parcel was worth. 2 weeks later, the land and the gate were mine. Next morning, I walked down to the gate, changed the padlock, and hung my own sign, "Private property, no trespassing without owner's permission." Carl nearly spit out his coffee when he saw it. He came marching down, red in the face. "You can't do this. That gate is HOA property." I showed him the deed. "Not anymore. You put your fence and gate on my land. That makes them mine too." He threatened lawsuits. He called the sheriff. The sheriff read the deed, scratched his head, and told Carl there was nothing he could do. Meanwhile, I handed the sheriff a spare key and told him he was welcome to fish off my dock anytime. Word spread pretty quick. The HOA folks had paid good money for exclusive lake access, but now they couldn't get past my locked gate without asking me first. I told them I'd be happy to open it for a small fee naturally, or they could carry their kayaks a mile down the hill through the brambles. Most of them didn't like that idea much. These days, I still sit on my dock every evening with my fishing pole. Sometimes I wave to Carl as he stands on the other side of the fence, shaking it like an angry raccoon. Funny how things work out when you remember to read the fine print.